Hello, Steve, Alex, and every skin in between. Welcome to Block Game Banter. This is not a normal episode. This is a project build episode. Quick summary though, we decided that instead of doing a regular episode to start off the new year for us, we were going to go and do a group build project. We broke up the process of how we were going to do it, and different things got done in different orders, and different stuff was worked on it by different people. So, I'm going to give you little bits and pieces of the perspective of everyone else as they did this. So, buckle up, get ready for the ride, and let's get this started. First one up is the firecracker. As you can tell, Ferks was the one in charge of getting the build started. She was able to produce this really cool water monster that inspired the rest of us with our builds. But you can also see our lovely derpy face of the villager on it. That didn't last, but that was just a fun little gag to make us all laugh at the time. But that was what started this. That was what inspired the rest of this build. The next person in line was Code, and their job was to make the lovely water monster look a little more like a water monster, make it look like it's actually destroying the land around it, so that we can come back with Dino in a little bit to have the houses and the builds of the village come in. So let's go bring Code in and see what they got done.
Alright, so to give a general idea of what I started doing, because apparently my mic didn't work, so I didn't actually give a proper explanation. I am working on the Trident right now. First things first, I don't like the proportions I've already have set, so I'm going to redo that. Make this a Trident top here. I'm going to try to do this with gold and this with like copper, prismarine, etc. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do to detail right here, but I'm going to play around with some stuff. I want to try to include amethyst. And this is kind of the color palette I have set up to look at. So just going to start playing around with some stuff, and maybe World Edit will work, maybe it won't, I don't know. I don't actually know how to use World Edit, but we're going to try some stuff. as you can see here in the end, I decided to go with the amethyst. Instead, I added some amethyst clusters in there too, though. That helps it reflect the light a little bit better, which I think looks a lot cooler, especially at night. I used mostly the copper and the prismarine bricks as mostly just accents. The actual prismarine is the majority of the handle part of the trident. The gold, as I planned, is the majority of that. I used yellow stained glass as the barrier between the amethyst and outside the trident. Overall, I'm very proud of how this looks. It turned out better than I can expected. I might come back and do some more touch-ups later on, but I'm going to take a break for now and figure out what I'm going to build next to help out with this.
As you can see, Code's Trident came out super cool, and we absolutely love it. Code did come back and do more with us and help out, but that was not recorded. So let's jump over to what Dino was able to get done for us, because it is awesome. see, the stuff that Dino did is super awesome. The builds are really cool and inspired by different cities in Greece, which honestly was not where we thought this was going to go to begin with. But that's the perk of building with people and working with people and just getting inspired by what each other is doing. So let's jump into what I got done and see what happened there. Hey folks, if you don't know what's up yet, I am Oni and I'm on the last stage of this, which is the majority of terraforming and finalizing the parts, making everything connect. So, first thing I have to do is terraform builds like this to make them look like a fit, such as that one over there and this one here, and fixing the terraforming here and getting rid of the mycelium in general. We're going to be mostly moving to the grass because it's a much nicer tone, in addition to getting rid or adding to these cracks where this Trident has now stabbed in addition to finalizing our lovely wave monster. So I'm going to get to the work on that. It's going to be mostly through the replay mod, and I will show you guys once I have it wrapped up. Alright, so this, while it is not the final touches for this build, is what I have done for this first island. Mostly adding greenery, mostly turning everything green, the big things like that. Added a couple trees. I probably come back and put some more palm trees in later. I threw some azaleas up here just because I felt like this higher point would make sense to have a whole bunch of flowering plants. Mostly stuck with jungle leaves as the flowering out here because the azalea leaves have a much deeper green tone that doesn't really fit what I was going for. I've also added a couple smaller details to it, such as benches here with the cauldron plants, in addition to putting doors on empty doorways. They had something there. And I added this pathway and this cute little bitty dock path system to connect it up to the rest of everything, so it looks like everyone can get somewhere. Mind you, I am going to need to come back over here, probably add some sort of small pathway that goes along out here, maybe, to connect the rest of this, because this one is alone. It does have its own dock, so it's not like completely isolated, but I feel like it could use something. However, this is the first level I'm doing with this, and I'm going to go ahead and pop over to the next island and do some massive terraforming over there, because that house cannot be floating, so help me. So I'm going to get that done, and I will bring y'all back and show you some replay footage for that. Alrighty, this is now wrapped up almost. We have a giant finalized waterman. He is doing his best good old Poseidon out here. His face is now attached to his body. The cracks look gorgeous. He now runs all the way down into the water. Both of these islands have some cleaned up and finalized terraforming. I just now need to come back through and clean up some of the small messes that are still around. But other than that, we're going to add a little bit more greenery, and this is going to be done. So I'll show you that when it's wrapped up. there you have it, folks. That is the block game banter build project. But as you can tell, this was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, but there are still things like I personally would love to come back and keep working on with this, and I have a feeling some of my fellow build partners would feel the exact same way. So there's a good chance we'll come back to this, but I'd love to know what you think. How do you feel about this project? What do you think of it? Is there a certain thing that you would have added to it? I'd love to hear about it. This was something we absolutely adored doing. It was so much fun. I think one of my favorite little things was putting the trees falling over up there on the hill because they fell from the Trident hitting. But I'd love to hear your opinion on this, so stick around, show us what you thought, and I will catch you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with everyone else. I'd love to hear everyone else's opinion. Take care, drink water, bye now!